artist, what I was finding is that all the money, once it trickled down to me, was like very, very small. So, there's huge names, huge advances, huge sales, huge everything, and then would trickle down to me. And I said, well, this is cool and everything, but it's got to be a better way, right? So after my 2 years being managed by Puff Daddy and working for all the, and I did everything, Snoop Dogg, Britney Spears, all these big records. I decided I wanted to try something non-traditional, and so luckily for me, while I was at Harvard, I had always been fascinated with the web and the way that it connected people. And so I actually had a partner, and I think one of the most important lessons that I learned is that when you're trying to develop something incredible, it's always great to find collaborators who are at the same level with the same sort of hunger for success that you have, right? Because I get people all the time, right, who are music producers, and they say, Ryan, I produce music, I wrote this song, and I think it'd be perfect for Beyonce. And I say, well, that's great for you. I think it'd be perfect for Rihanna if it's not for Beyonce. That's great for you too, but it's going to be very, very challenging to actually get your music to be heard by those people because they already have their own silos of collaborators, right? So for me, what was very lucrative, so to speak, was to find people who were at the same level that I was, that enjoyed the same passion and hunger for success that I did. And they were at the same level. So that means when I picked up the phone and called and said, hey, can you make it to the studio and let's work and let's grind it out and let's do something incredible, they didn't have other way more important things to do. So if I called Rihanna, maybe she has a lot more important things to do. But if I called my friend Lateef, who actually I got my first record contract with, he was just a student who was down the street at Berklee College of Music who loved singing and loved making music, but he needed a collaborator to make his dream come true. Our collaborative efforts created an amazing synergy, which then landed him a record deal, and I got my first, instead of $200 a track, I was making $10,000 a track for 7 tracks on his album. So there are some very interesting and amazing synergies that happen when you collaborate with people who are at the same level of hunger for success that you are. And so let's fast forward now, 2004. I had found who I thought was the love of my life. And she had actually asked me, she said, my mom found out that I'm dating a music producer, and my mom wants to hear what I sound like on record. And I said, okay, well, that's easy. Come on by the studio. We'll cook something up, and you'll shoot it off to your mom, and she's going to say how awesome it is, and that'll get me some favor with the family, and it'll be great, right? And so we made this little record, but there happened to be a guy who was in the audience. And so when I graduated from school, I gave the Harvard oration, and the gist of my speech was, when you find your passion, the best is going to be demanded of you, not by the expectations of the world, but by the bidding of your heart, just because it's going to be something that drives you forward every single day. And so he was sitting there. He was probably about 18 or 19 himself, and his sister was actually a colleague of mine at school. And he said, you know what, I sat there in that speech, and I ended up going home. I went to UC Irvine, and I created, and he called me, a few years later, he said, I created a competitor to Facebook. I said, well, that's great. Good luck with that. but if you read the Facebook, there's a book that was written on Facebook. I forget the name of it. But if you read it, you'll see there's a little paragraph, and it mentions a site called College Stir. And that's the site that my friend Rashid Richmond had created. Now, in creating that site, he had created kind of an amazing network and link exchange, which yielded it yielded a result that was kind of unexpected. And that result was the fact that in 2004, we actually had the ability to control the music video keyword, right? So the Google algorithm at that time was actually based on how many sites were linking to a specific destination. And so he had built an incredible network of sites, and at the push of a button, he could have all the sites linking to whatever website on the internet he wanted. And so in 2004, I decided, hey, I'm interested in turning the music industry on its head. Now, we're in a room here with folks that really understand numbers, and numbers don't lie, right? So at that time, in order to take a record from completely unknown, or to take an artist from completely unknown to number anything in 1 to 10 on the music charts in the United States, it cost anywhere from $180,000 to $250,000, right? That's how much it costs to take a record to the top 10, right?